And folks, it really is a privilege to be able to just to share a few things. Some of you who are on are aware that I was in Cape Town last week, and we rattled a few cages there, I think, including my own. And so this evening, without further ado, I really just want to welcome all of you to this and just trust that as we engage in the program, that we gain out of it what we put in. All of us, those of us who've put in for it already, but those of us who are on, we only get what we put in, and we only get out of it what we share with others. And so as we share the gift that we have of this incredible opportunity to be online tonight with different speakers, I'm really excited about the first person who is going to be sharing with us, because this person has had an experience with the particular topic that we're going to be covering. And she normally lives way up in the mountains out of the city, but at the moment she's down at the coast. So please help me to welcome for our first session on botanical balance, Jan Ross. Over to you, Jan.
Okay, well, up first, hey? All right, that's great. Evening, everybody. Lovely to be here with you. I've attended a couple of these Monday evening trainings just as a listener inner, and really have got an enormous amount out of it. So I trust that you will do the same tonight. Before I share my screen, I just want to, there's a little, what would you call it, disclaimer. Mark has set up this slideshow. He's up to date with AI and all this sort of stuff, which is beyond my capability. So I'm grateful for that. I will now just share the screen and get going. There we go. Open Sesame. Come on. Okay. And we want to, can you see that?
Yep. You just need to go into presentation mode.
Yeah, why won't it? Aha, there we go. Is that better?
Yep, there we go.
Okay. Right. So tonight I've been asked to talk a bit about botanical balance, which is one of our relatively new products. It's come on the market only in the last couple of years, as opposed to 40, 50 years. And I, for one, am very excited about this product. And so I'll just go through what Mark has put together and add a few bits and pieces as I go along. So the main purpose of botanical balance is to address the sugar problem that is now a worldwide issue. Africa, it's growing at an enormous rate. In America, it's a real epidemic. But for me, it's almost more frightening that so many people are undiagnosed with diabetes. You know, it's one thing to have the diagnosis and get the right diet that you're supposed to follow, the right meds, and worst case scenario, the insulin. But if you don't even know that you have a sugar problem, that's a real challenge. That's when it really becomes very, very scary. You know, they are now keeping very, very close eye on diabetes, as it is one of the diseases that is killing people well before the age of 60, and that is much too young. One of the reasons we need to look after our sugar levels in our system is because of the damage that it does to our organs. And we all know any of our organs fail and we fail. So if our blood sugar is too high for any length of time, I mean, obviously you eat a chocolate, it's going to go high, but if it remains high, that's when the challenge comes in. I'm not going to get into the whole pancreas and insulin, et cetera. That if you're interested, you can easily research. But one of the things that people don't pick up, as I said, is that when it's undiagnosed, and that is often when our blood sugar is too low. And we don't understand this fatigue thing, that we end up battling with. We're permanently tired, and we sort of blame it on this and blame it on that, but it could very well be just a blood sugar issue. And obviously, if we can get that blood sugar nice and stable, then our energy, returns. Diabetes is caused by our modern lifestyles. Number one, we eat too much junk. All those processed foods, those white flours, white rice, white, fried, all those fast foods, etc., that we consume. Number one, especially in America, and it's becoming a real challenge here in Africa too. We're not active enough. So many of our jobs are sitting at a computer, and then we're tired when we go home, and so we don't exercise, etc. There's a huge level of stress out there at the moment, especially now with this new issue going on up north, and the cost of living is just going to be skyrocketing. It's bad enough anyway. And also the lack of testing. We don't test our blood sugars unless we go to a doctor for a full-on medical, and then they will do it. And actually, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to prevent it getting to the level where we have a blood sugar issue or full-blown diabetes. So, there's obviously the obvious solutions for everything that we talk about when we talk about nutrition. Is prevention is better than cure. So prevention is the key. And so obviously we have to do everything opposite to what I've just said. We must eat healthier, we must exercise, we must reduce our stress if we possibly can, and get ourselves tested. Next time you have to go for any kind of medical test, just ask them to test your blood sugar, because they've got a very nifty thing these days. You can actually have a blood test, and they can test back for 3 months. Just from the blood test today, they can tell you 3 months worth of your blood sugar readings. And if that is on a constant not good level, whether it be too high or too low, they can tell you that, and you can be treated accordingly. So it really is, if you do go and have yourself tested for anything, just ask them to do that blood test. So we are in such a brilliant position in our business because we have this product called Botanical Balance, and I've got a little container here. It's quite a easy to swallow. I don't know if you can see a little tablet. You take 2 before the 2 main meals that you eat in the day, and for various reasons. And I will get into that now. So what it does is it helps to manage the sugar absorption. And please remember that sugar isn't that white stuff that you put in your coffee. Well, it is. It's that plus any O's is a sugar. So that you can have fructose, you can have glucose, you can have maltose, you can have all the different toses are forms of sugar. So white flour, white, all those things are sugar. Sugar basically means carbohydrates. So when we say, cut out the sugar in your tea, of course we must do that. But it's not only that that's going to help us regulate our blood sugar levels. So this Botanical Balance also just improves our body's ability to utilize the insulin that it produces itself properly, and make sure that our cells are not absolutely flooded with glucose. What's in our Botanical Balance? Well, it's just spices basically, and for me that is so exciting, because it's just, all our products are just food. And here's another product that's come in, and it's just things that most of us have on our shelf. Certainly two of the, I'll just quickly go through the ingredients. First ingredient is actually chromium. Now, chromium comes from yeast, and it helps metabolize those carbohydrates and fats, and so that we can have healthy glucose metabolism in our system. And we also have a thing called alpha lipoic acid, and that helps all the damage that is caused by the free radicals that we breathe in, eat, etc., and helps support our blood sugar levels. So those are not true foods. But here comes the food bit. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is just, for me, one of my favorite spices. It's absolutely delicious. I really love the flavor of cinnamon. And it helps us to support a healthy glucose metabolism within our body, and also supports efficient insulin production. So just that one spice is helping our bodies produce the correct amount of insulin to deal with the food, the rubbish that we put into our systems. Then we have a thing called curcumin, which is from turmeric, which is also a spice, and it helps relieve inflammation. Now, inflammation is a big part of diabetes, and in fact, it's a big part of many, many diseases. So this would help in many other situations where we have other health challenges, because inflammation is a big problem with many, many conditions. And then we have turmeric itself, which is also helps relieve inflammation. So we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little ingredients in this amazing product, and all they do is try and help our body deal with insulin, with blood sugar regulation. What it does, it helps us with our cravings. You know, that galang for something soet. Wanting something sweet, and it helps reduce those crashes of energy that I get one sort of late morning if I'm not careful. By late morning, I suddenly think, oh, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I need to go and get a snack or a cup of tea or something. And I think many of us know what that feels like. The problem we are having in the world is that we are allowing our bad diets and our lack of exercise and our stress levels, etc., to get out of hand. And here's a rather interesting stat. Well, a couple of interesting stats. Diabetes is on the increase between 2010 and 2016. That was just a thing that they did. It was up by 155%. That's a massive increase just in 5 years. And the other big thing, and it is really serious, and we must consider it if we have never been tested ourselves, is that over 2 million of us have diabetes, but it's undiagnosed. And undiagnosed is incredibly dangerous. If you allow, and it's not necessarily allow, if you have diabetes that goes really wrong, you end up with limbs being amputated. You probably won't live to an old age, etc., etc. So, and what's exciting about diabetes is doesn't have to be a death wish, doesn't have to be a death sentence. There are so many things one can do to help control it. So I'm just wondering if anybody out there on this call has had any experience with using botanical balance, or whether you have perhaps got a customer who's used it and has had good results. I'd love to just open up, and if anybody does have anything to share, please would you do that now? Is there anybody out there?
Jen,
Mark, I
I
know,
can come in. Yeah,
sorry,
I
I
can
know
come
you've
in
got
with.
something. I know you've got a story, so if you wouldn't mind sharing yours.
Yeah, sure, Jan. It's somebody that I've known for many years. He works at one of our outfitters here in Grahamstown, and we often chat about various things. And about 2.5 months ago, he was talking about he was concerned about his blood sugar, and I chatted to him about the botanical balance. And I went back to him about 10 days later, and he said already he was feeling better on it. And he was feeling so much better with his numbers having come down that at the end of the first month, he was quite panicky because I was out of town and the bottle was getting finished. And he wanted to make sure that he had another bottle in stock, which he now has got. And he's probably getting towards the end of that one. I tried to get hold of him to give us his own testimony today, but I think he's probably away for Easter. But he was just so excited at the way he's feeling. He says, just generally, he's feeling better all round, besides the fact that his numbers are down, but his own state of well-being is positive. And I see Zuki's got her hand up there, Jan.
Oh, great, great. Thanks, Zuki. Hi. If you could just unmute yourself and share your story. Thank you. There we go.
Hi, Jen. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, clearly. Thank you.
All right. There was an 80-year-old man that was a neighbor to a friend to my son. But he had some problem with the spiking sugar, and he was always admitted. But the time that he's found, he's so floppy and sleepy and unconscious, and then will be rushed to a hospital. And they try and give drips and whatever to low down the sugar. And that happened for several times until the friend to my son said, no, man, I've got somebody that has good supplements that can help you. So he was eager to hear about it. Then I was invited. So I went to him and I tried to get the history. So he told me. And then I advised about the diet, about everything. But I said, I can give you something. So I gave him Pro Vitality together with Botanica. And then after some time, so he used both of them. And then after a month, he went for his checkup because he was done monthly. He went for his checkup and the doctor was so amazed. The doctor said, hey, but I didn't see you. You never came again here. So what's happening? So they took the bloods also and they saw that there's some change in his blood readings. So they wanted to know from him, what are you using? What have you done that you were not doing? But he never shared anything. He just said, no, I do not know. Me too. I'm so amazed. But he didn't want to share because, they are so scared that the doctor might say, no, you don't have to. So he was really didn't want to share. But he continuously, so he left the Pro Vitality, he said, because he said it's too much, it's a pensioner. So he's going to go with the botanical. But he used the botanical religiously. And he was never into a hospital again. He was up and about between Eastern Cape and Western Cape with no problems. He was traveling by bus with no problems, having you to use the botanica. And sadly, he passed away. But what I like, he passed away not because of sugar spikes, but just because he woke up that morning. He went and made himself porridge. He ate his porridge. And about 11, he went back to bed just to sleep. He's an old person, just to sleep. He was active, just to sleep in his bed. And he had a peaceful sleep and he never woke up. So I was happy that at least I helped him and he managed to live more, 2 years more using the Botanica. So that is a good story for me from him. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zuki. Thank you very much. That is a brilliant story. Thank you. I also have a story, which is why I really love this product. Is my husband's diabetic, type 2 diabetes. They discovered it when he turned about 60, I think. And he, controls it pretty well with, he's on 2 different pills. He's never had to go onto insulin, and his diet, he's become very strict with his diet. But, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, he was all of a sudden discovering that his blood sugar was just increasing just a little bit. And every now and again, it was a bit too high, and he started getting a bit worried. He thought, I hope it's, not deteriorating to the point where I'm going to have to start with insulin. And just then Botanical Balance came on the market, and we started him on Botanical Balance. And it really just was just that little bit extra help that he needed to completely regulate his blood sugar. He's managed to reduce, he's still on his pills, but he takes half of what he used to take of the one med. And so it really has been incredibly helpful for his control of the disease. So that's why I love it so much, because I mean, much nicer to take a little capsule not a capsule, a little tablet that is just cinnamon and turmeric, etc., than to have to inject yourself every day or every time you eat a meal. So let's just complete this. Excuse me. So Botanical Balance is not a drug. It's just a food supplement. It's just nutritional support for a condition that for many people, it's nothing they've done wrong to develop it. It's just something that has crept up on them. And to be able to just complete it nutritionally is so much nicer than having to go on further drugs. However, just one little proviso. You've got to understand, this is not like taking a Disprin or an aspirin or a Panado for a headache. This is a long-term commitment. So if you're really wanting it to make a big difference, you need to understand that you need to take it for a long time. And we also need to, I think it's one of just how you take it, you take 2 before each of your main meals. So if you have a big breakfast and a big dinner at night, then you take it before those meals, because you need to have it in your system in order for it to control what you eat for the meals. If one of your main meals is lunch, whatever, then you take it then. So your 2 main meals, you take 2 before each meal. And it works. It works. I think there's enough evidence that it works. And for me, it's one of the easiest products to sell too, because you can just say to people, I don't know if you know anybody who's perhaps got diabetes or, blood sugar issues or arthritis, because possibly we do have something to help. And you won't believe the number of people put their hands up to say, yes, I know somebody with sugar issues. So that I'm going to stop blabbing on now and pass back to Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Jane, thank you so much. And thank you for adding so much to what the slide had. It was really good to have a story that goes with it. And Marguerite has put some comments in for those of you who wanted to have a few answers. Thank you so much for that. So now we're going to move on to, sometimes when people get diabetes, they start losing out on their dream. But I think that the Botanical Balance enables us to dream more. So I want to hand over to also first time on this platform, lovely lady from Cape Town. And I know she's excited about sharing about dreams. So Mariam, over to you. Let's hear what you've got to share with us about dreams. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Andy. Good evening, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's fantastic. So the laptop, you will hear the story about the laptop. So you'll see 2 Mariams on it. There's a lovely picture, so you'll know who's speaking. Okay, so at least I take the curiosity away from you as to who's online. Before I share my screen, so we are talking about dreams. So everyone on this platform, firstly, I would like to welcome all the guests that's on here. You're at the right place, at the right platform. So at the end of the day, you have a dream. And so when you have a dream, each and every distributor needs to have a dream board. If you don't, you really need to catch up and do that, because That is the road to success. If you don't have a dream, then at the end of the day, it's just thinking and it's not basically being visualized. So the importance of a dream board is literally you need to see it, you need to feel it, you need to smell it, and you know you're gonna reach that. That's basically what I would like to start off. So I have done mine, and Mark will be speaking about the eagles later on. And so I was pressed for time and I needed to put mine on a visual board. So your dream can change, but at the end of the day, try to keep your goals. Your dreams, your goal, it's short, medium, and long term. Okay? And just remember, you can push it the time, you need to put a date to it. Because if you don't put a date to it, you're not gonna basically try and achieve what is there. So let me just try this. It's a right. Can everyone see my screen?
There it is. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so this is my dream board, a dream chart. You can call it what you want. And so I needed to think, okay, what is it that I want? And this is my personal dream. So yes, your technology you need to have, and that's what I'm saying. I've got this old laptop and it needs to be changed so the camera can work. There's so many things. So I put short term to it and I've just put my dates to it. All right, spending time with family, that is very important. Your business.
Yeah, some better didn't.
Excuse me.
Okay,
I think Loretta's on. Okay, thank you.
Muted now.
Thank you, Mark. So this is just my dream board that I'm sharing, and I have lots of dreams, and I needed to put basically timelines to it so it can become a reality, even if I do not get to that specific time. But I do speak in the positive. I say I am a Emerald Director moving to Sapphire Director. That's all I'm going to tell you. So I feel it, I dream it. I need to work hard for it. What I need is, in this day and age, quality family time. I'm dreaming of traveling, as you can see at the bottom, whether it's on holiday, on spiritual journey, etc. And at the end of the day, I believe each and everyone wants financial freedom. If there's anyone on this platform that doesn't want financial freedom, yeah, just leave it at that. So at the end of the day, we all want financial freedom. We all want to enjoy life. We need to work towards our goals and our dreams. And these were just samples of what my dream board is looking. There might be many others. And my personal goals, which is my vehicle, as you can see, my metallic bottle green Tigo 8, not even out on the road yet. Pro Sherry SUV automatic. And that is my dream vehicle that I want to drive. And I'm, already visualizing that. That said, this is how I've broken it down. So you saw all these pictures. And then I just basically started with what I want to do, basically, how I would like to achieve it. I hope this is big enough. It's not in a PowerPoint. But as you could see, my short-term goals that I've put down that I would like to achieve, one of that is going to Bloemfontein. I've heard so much of Bloemfontein, and so I really am looking so much forward to attending the Bloemfontein event in June. So these are all my short-term goals. And then at the end of the day, I have broken it down into my medium-term and I have my long-term goals. All I can tell you, the business that you started is an international business. So with that said, it means your dreams is your travel and dreams you can reach with this company of yours. You're not in it alone. And so you can see already, I've been at the summit. I stood there in front and my dream list, and there I am, and I will be traveling with the whole team members. So that is my aim. And at the end of the day, we are reaching the skies. being a diamond girl. Everyone calls me, and I always label myself as a diamond girl. So yes, working towards my 5 diamonds. That's the longest goal, but at the end of the day, if they did it, I can surely do it, and you can surely do it. Nothing stops us, only commitment. And at the end of the day, you don't oversell. We share, we educate, and we dream big. And the bigger our dreams, the better our goals. And so, yeah, thank you very much, Mark. I mean, there wasn't much to put in there. All I can say is your road to success in your business is having your dream list, you print it, you paste it on your wall, you wake up with your self-talk, you see it, you eat it, you drink it, you sleep it. And believe me, you will be checking the tick box by tick box by tick box. And at the end of the day, you're going to say, wow, I've done this. And I didn't do it alone because I have a great family called the NeoLife family. I thank you very much for your time.
Mariam, thank you. And for the first time on this platform, sharing your story there with us and your dream. That's really wonderful. And we look forward to seeing you stepping up, but more importantly, telling us how you've now achieved whatever the goal is that you set yourself. So well done on that. And thank you for sharing with us. So now we're going to move on, because we've heard about the conditions that we need to sort out in terms of our long-term wealth and long-term health. Now we're going to look at the things that we need to do to make those dreams come true. And so my session this evening is to help us understand a little bit better what it is that we do when we show the Eagle Team business plan. And I really hope that what I've put together here this evening will help you to get a better picture of what we're looking at. And just, can you confirm? I'm sure you can all see that. Is that correct?
Yes, you're on, Mark.
Fantastic. So the Eagle Team 622 plan, and we talk about the plan, it's about the compensation plan. And it's a variation of the company plan that has been found to work successfully within the Eagle Team environment and the way we teach the business. And it's all based around the importance of structure. And so, one of the things that I've found for me is that, you've got to have faith in the plan in the first instance. But you've also got to have faith in yourself, and you've got to have faith in your purpose, your dream. And we put this all together in the business, and we're building a life-giving business with NeoLife. And when we talk about life-giving, it's not only from the health point of view, it's in terms of a sense of mental health, it's in terms of a healthy bank balance, it's healthy relationships, all those kind of things that give life to one another. And I think, Mariam, you touched on that to a certain extent about the family that we have. So I'll touch a little bit more on the actual plan itself later on. But the foundation of our plan is that we need to have a vision. We need to know where we are going to. We also need to plan this over a 2 to 5 year period. It's not a get-rich scheme. We're looking at 2 to 5 years to get the business to work. And we're looking at putting 5 to 10 hours a week. So one of the things that, for me, when I started in the business, I didn't have 5 to 10 hours a week, but I had a vision of what I wanted. And so I needed to start looking at what I would put away in order to get what I wanted, so that I could find the 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, not all of that is formal training. Some is that time that you would spend on your own, working with your customers and your business partners and your own training and stuff like that. And obviously, we're building the foundation of our dream with the purpose. And the big thing in our plan is consistency. So what are the 3 daily success habits that we need to focus on in order to make this a success? The one is to use our products. That is really vital. If you're not using your products, folks, you're not going to have the believability that the business can work. Because when you find the products working, which is what happened for me, if you find the products are working, you're going to be able to say, okay, if the products work, then I can share the business plan, because I've got credibility for what I'm using, for what I'm consuming, and the results that I'm having, either for me or my family or my people who are buying from me. Then we've got the sharing element, and that sharing is broken down, and we'll pick up on that a little bit later on, the element of sharing, and it's sharing that gift. We were down in Cape Town and we were talking sharing the gift. Really, this NeoLife is a gift that we're sharing to people. And then really importantly on those daily success habits is our personal growth story. And for me, what's important about these 3 steps is they're simple, they're things we do on a consistent basis, and they are duplicatable. You can say to somebody, if they say, what do? I said, I use the products, I share the opportunity, I share the product, and I focus on my personal growth. Simple, that's all that we need to know, and we just keep on doing that consistently. So what are we meant to be doing when we're using the products daily? Well, we should really become our very own best customer. And, we talk about using 100 points, but ideally you want to be using and ordering on a monthly basis more than 100 points yourself, because it's that 100 points that enables us to qualify to pick up our residual income through the sales volume bonus, through the leadership development bonus, through the network development bonus, the consistency bonuses, and then obviously your entire organization profit share that comes out of the business. So by doing your 100 points at least every month, you qualify to be able to earn that. And I think the other thing is, it says here, authenticity builds trust. When you're authentic about what you're doing and people can see that you're consistent in what you're doing, that's where your testimony really begins to hold strength. So you start to use and change your shopping habits and buy from yourself, from the different ranges, experience them, take advantage of all the tax benefits that there are that the plan allows us. And what do? Well, we start with 6 people. You invite those first 6 people. That's your core. We don't stop there. I've picked up sometimes that people say, oh, I only need to invite 6 people. No, we don't. We need to start with 6. That's your core, 6 to 12 people, but our core is 6. Then we help the first person to find 2, and then we'll help that person to find 2 more as we see how it goes now. And then what we're doing is we're actually building people who build people. And that really is, I think, where the Eagle Team plan differs. If you have a look at this image that I've put here on the screen, there on the left-hand side are our 3 daily success habits of use the products by changing your shopping habits, the sharing of the opportunity and the product, and the personal development. But what's important is that our business is founded on 2 elements of support. One is the NeoLife company, and the other is the Eagle Team. And both of those work together synergistically to support us in what we're doing, in helping people to get started. So the yellow are those first 6 people that you introduce, and you start teaching them to do what you're doing using the product. And then you start helping the first of those people to get their first 2 and them to get their first 2. And so the idea is that you, with your upline, will expand your network in order to build that structure, which is on the right-hand side there. That where you've got the first 2 and the other 2. And that's where the structure becomes so vitally important. And one of the things that for those of you who aren't yet comfortable in showing the plan, try and get this image in your mind and in your head, so that when you meet somebody, you can think of the different components of it. And it's so much easier to remember if you're in a restaurant and you've got a matchbox to draw it on, or if you've got a serviette to draw it on, a little notebook or something, you can picture these things in your mind, and it becomes so much easier to talk about as you go. And so as you build your organization, you're going to see what's going to happen. So we need to understand what the 622 plan is. It's you plus your first 6 people who each are doing 100 points, which gives us those 700 points accumulated. Now, we don't have to tally that up. NeoLife tallies that up for us. And so this is where our duplication begins, because now it's yourself plus the 6 other people at least that you've got started in your business. And then we help those people to build 2 by 2 by 2, and it grows from there. So for me, what's important about what we're seeing here is that our structure is really very simple. But if we follow the structure building process, like putting a foundation down for your house, there's got to be growth. If you build a house just on the ground, it's not going to be stable. But in our business, if we get that network around us, those first 6 to 12 people, and help them to go out beyond us. And folks, one of the things that I've been started teaching again to my team is that when you're inviting and prospecting people, don't wait for the person who says, I'm not ready yet. Get names from that person as referrals and start building your structure anyway until you find somebody who is ready to say yes. And then you work back to that first person and say, I've found people who are ready to get started. Would you like to get started? And in that way, the effort that you've put into number 1 or number 2 or number 3 going down is not wasted because you've got a referral. And what I like about the plan is that if you've got, in the example that we shared, you've got 6 teams, each with 700 points. You've got 4,200 points in your team. You add your own 100 at least, and I say there plus your own 100 or more, which gives you 4,300 points. And you can see from the image that I'm showing down there at the bottom that you're now able to plan your steps, because as your volumes increase and you develop leadership within your teams, you're going to start moving through the steps from distributor through to manager to senior manager, executive manager, and up to director. And at director level, you're going to be earning those incomes of between 8,000 up to 15,000 Rand in a month. It's a simple process. It's not easy, but it's about the consistency and the regularity of talking to people, getting them in started, and then helping them to get their own people started. And for those who don't get started, to help them to get onto the products. And I love this statement that Charlie shared with me a little while ago. Width generates profit. Width is profit. Depth is security. So when you've got a nice wide network around you, because there's a lot of new people in the team, you're getting profit that you can use to help feed your business, to fund your travel, to fund your incentives in your team, until you start developing the depth, because it's in the depth that we get the security in our organization. The deeper you are, like a tree with deep roots, you'll find that trees with deep tap roots are much more stable in unstable conditions, when there's winds, when there's storms, when there's rains. And through building the width into your team as fast as you can, and then taking the depth down as fast as you can, you find yourself in a situation where you've got a sustainable, growing organization. And so we're actually developing leadership. We're developing people who develop other people, who develop teams of teams. And as we develop those teams, we develop an organization. And that organization then uses the products that are available to us through NeoLife. And we're teaching our people how to use them. We're teaching our people how to work with the other people. We're teaching our people how to gain a passive or residual income. But it's about the consistency. It's not about running for 2 or 3 months and saying this doesn't work. A friend of mine who's in our business, he invited about 100 odd people at one stage, and I said to him, would you like me to help you? He said, no need to help me. I've just found all the people who were going to say no. And then within a short period of time, he suddenly had a whole bunch of people get started, and his team took off. And so when you're consistent in focusing on your dream, consistent in sharing the gift of the opportunity, building leadership in your organization, you're going to become a person of value. So, we need to really use those gifts, what we've got, because as we steward people, we're building people. We're not just building volume. And the bigger you build people in their capacity to think and to dream and to understand the plan, that's where the volume is going to come from. So it's not focusing on the volume, but it's more about focusing on the people and building the people. And the more people that you build securely, the more your volumes are going to become, the more they're going to earn. And because they're earning more, you're going to earn more. And that's where your residual comes in. That's where ongoing leadership development comes in. And we're going to have a global impact. And for me at the moment, with the NASA Artemis out in the Earth there, or out beyond the Earth on this way around the moon, it's just wonderful to think that we can stretch ourselves far bigger than our little village, our little home, our little community, our little town, even our country, because with the business opportunity that we've got, that is literally a global possibility, we can have a global impact on the lives of people that we've changed, because we have a growth mindset, a mindset that is focused on building businesses rather just than moving products. And so you really want to just get started on your own 100 points plus. Keep on with your 100 points. Be consistent in that, because that's what we need to teach our people. If you're consistent with your 100 points every month, when the accumulated volumes come in through your team, you're going to see the results coming. If you're new in the business, make sure that you get that list of names and get your first 6 people started or more, and continue sharing. And, I've learned this through the business. We need to be faithful in the small things, because it's in doing those little things that people of small mindsets cannot grasp the power of compounding the little things on a day-to-day basis. And as you can see from that picture at the bottom, if you help enough other people to come up, you're going to be coming up with them as well. And so, folks, as we come to the end of this portion of it, I just want to suggest that let's take action and let's spread our wings like eagles so that we can actually rise up. Because the more confident we are in our action, the more significant our outcomes are going to be. So from my side, I want to thank you for allowing me to share with you today. And I'm hoping I can get out of this thing now. There we go. So folks, thank you very much for being part of the process today, and wish you all well as you continue to build your businesses and take advantage of everything that we have through NeoLife and through this incredible opportunity. So from my side, thank you and God bless and good night. And we'll see you at the next event on Thursday.